But my 3 guys, man. So number 3, I have Dwayne Woodruff. That's my number 3.
Okay.
Then from there, had to go Rod Woodson, man. Big time baller. And then number 1 is Mel Blount, man. Yeah, man. So those are my 3. So you give yours and we'll talk about it.
What?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Go ahead.
I thought this was just going to be a non-debating podcast. We were just going to get by. I thought...
Go ahead. Go. So, let's hear it. We're going to hear from you.
Come on, man. What?
We're going to hear in a second, man. Go ahead.
I'm just so thrown off right now because... All right, so Ike Taylor's my honorable mention.
Okay.
This is the one I was really going back and forth with.
Mm-hmm.
And it was between him and Joe Hayden for the 3 spot.
Okay, fair enough.
So I went with Joe Hayden, and we can get into the reasons why as we go forward. But yeah, 3 was Joe Hayden, honorable mention Ike Taylor. 2 is Mel Blount, 1 is Rod Woodson.
Fair enough. I like it.
He's better. So I think Rod Woodson's better. They both have a defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
See, I'd have to go into Pro Football
Both got
Reference
a ton
here.
of Pro Bowls. Mel had 5. I think Rod has 11 over his career.
So,
excuse me.
I just have in my notes just the career stats for both of them. So I have to go into Pro Football Reference to look up like this.
Well, just pull up Rod Woodson career stats because I have Rod's Steeler years: 134 games, 38 picks, 16 forced fumbles, 671 tackles.
Hold on, let me pull this up here. And then we got...
And then Mel Blount, 200 games as a Steeler, 57 picks. We already talked about the Pro Bowl. They didn't have all the tackles and forced fumbles for him, though.
Okay.
But we do know that they changed the whole rule for that man.
Okay.
You talked about that change in the rule thing, too.
So here we go with Rod Woodson. Something else to consider here. I'm looking at the slashes in terms of position.
Because he was a punt returner as well.
Kick returner, punt returner.
Definitely brought value, without a doubt.
Okay.
But are we talking about best punt returner, kick returner all the time? Or are we talking about corner?
Dude,
tell me.
So I'm looking even outside of the San Fran and the Baltimore and Oakland years, which is crazy impressive.
He balled.
He was 37 years old, and it looks like he made an All-Pro with Oakland as a safety. That's absurd. 8 picks.
He did the Charles Woodson switch.
Yeah.
Play corner the first half, and then once you get a little longer in the tooth, move to safety. Use your knowledge.
Well, and I think Charles Woodson was on those teams too.
Yeah.
02 and 03. He was a youngin'. Okay. So with Rod Woodson's Pittsburgh years here, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pro Bowls still though. 1, 2, 3.
Mel has 5.
4, 5 All Pros.
Oh, you're talking about All Pros? Okay.
With Pittsburgh, 7 All Pros. Or I'm sorry, 5 All Pros and 7 Pro Bowls with Pittsburgh. That's Rod Woodson, not even considering the Baltimore,
correct,
Oakland, San Francisco years. Okay, so I'm looking at that and I'm saying he was the GOAT during that time period. I mean,
you're funny.
You got him and Deion Sanders.
So hold on, because I was about to say. So how's he the GOAT? Please tell me.
Those two are, if you're doing all decade team in the 90s, you're putting him and Deion Sanders.
I'm going Deion Sanders. So how can Rob be the GOAT? Please tell me. Don't you disrespect prime time like that.
Wait, you don't throw GOAT out loosely like I do?
No, absolutely not. What?
There could be a few GOATs.
No, it can't. It's one GOAT.
There's a few.
It's
GOATs.
one GOAT. Deion. Deion's the GOAT at corner.
Those are the two
Anybody
GOATs.
playing no Deion time is competing for second place. Stop playing with me, man. Stop it. What? I always say he's the GOAT. What?
2 GOATs.
And Rod's awesome. Rod's another guy who was on that Steelers cruise too, man. He's a dope dude, bro.
Those are the 2 GOATs of the 90s.
Okay.
Mel Blount probably could say he's one of the GOATs in the 70s, though. I don't know too much about the 70s corners.
Probably could say he's one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, but I would have Rod Woodson over him. 4, those, like I said, 7 Pro Bowls, 5-time All-Pro. We got a little kick return, punt return element in there too. He has a season. What'd you say his Pittsburgh years were for the interceptions?
38.
38. What was Mel Blount's?
57.
57. Looks like they're comparable years, but comparable in like seasons, right?
Well, no, because Mel had
seasons?
a ton of 14-year seasons, and then I think he might have had 1 or 2 16s.
Hold on, let me pull him up here. I got him going. All right, so he has 70 to 83. That's 14 years. How many did Rod Woodson play here with Pittsburgh? 96 to 87. That's 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he was.
That's a lot of extra games.
He's completely hurt in his 95 year. In his rookie year, he only played 8 games.
That's still a lot of extra games.
Extra games? Yeah, but I mean, we can't go solely off picks. How?
What you do? Because you were about to make the argument of, well, look, man, his career span, this amount of games, he has this many numbers. You were about to go there. Yes, you were. I saw you. You were setting it up. Yeah, you were trying to set it up.
I was considering it, but that's not my main. That's
it.
not the main one to go after. It's more that, I mean, are we really going to be looking at just picks here?
Well, this is the thing. They don't have all of Mel Blount's other stats in terms of the tackles, in terms of the forced fumbles. They don't have all that up there. They both scored touchdowns. I think Mel has 1 touchdown. Rod had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But they don't have the rest of Mel Blount's stats up there.
Do they have his? Well, let me see.
Just the difference in the errors, man. They weren't tracking all that stuff like that.
No, for sure. They don't have his tackles, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have none of that stuff, right? I'm like, were they still doing all pros back then?
Yeah, that's tough.
Because for him to have a depot, but there is no all pros listed for that, man. Like, how?
They weren't doing all pros.
I'm asking, were they? I don't think they were for Mel Blount.
Dude, Rod Woodson, even with the tackles, man, 100 tackles in a season, 95,
but what do we know from Mel? That's what I'm saying. We're saying
88.
That he had 671 tackles as a Steeler. That's a ton of tackles. But we do not know what Mel had.
And you could say with Rod Woodson, though,
we know who's the more physical corner.
That defense wasn't necessarily the 70s defense. It was a great defense. Those 90 defenses were great. So
think about this, though. Those 70 defenses, and Mel was the best player on that defense for one of those years. We do know that.
One of those years, correct.
It should have. Let's be real about it. People will argue and say he could have had it multiple times, but they gave it to a couple other guys, and they said, we're not going to keep giving it to Steelers.
Who would people say during that time period, though, are the best players on that defense?
Mel's going to be in that conversation.
He's probably top 3 or 4. You would have Joe Green and Lambert for sure.
Yeah, they're always going to be in that conversation.
And then there'd be an argument between Mel Blount and Jack Ham, maybe in that mix too.
All I'm saying is you just named off 4 gods on the football field.
Right. Rod Woodson's during that 90s era. He was head and shoulders above all of them for like best player on the Steelers defense.
Who was he playing with?
What do you mean?
Name some of the guys he played with.
He had Greg Lloyd, Kevin Green. I'm naming some great players. Greg Lloyd and Kevin Green versus Jack Lambert, Mean Joe Green. I mean, you don't think there's a difference there?
You gonna just poo-poo Kevin Green like that? Boy, stop.
Oh, come on. Dude.
What? You just said you don't think there's a difference there? What?
The difference between Rod Woodson and Mel Blount in general is very small, so you gotta pull out all the stuff.
Okay, okay.
I'm not poo pooing Kevin Green. I'm just.
So you taking Jack Ham or Kevin Green?
I don't really know. Jack Ham has the better career accolades. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
In terms of short span, we did talk about Kevin.
We just look at raw numbers. What Kevin could do as a pass rusher.
That wasn't really Jack Ham's role.
No, it wasn't. No, it
was a 4-3 back then.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
hard to compare them.
That is a tough comparison.
Yeah. But you brought the comparison up.
You
brought it up. That's 90s, what you said.
90s defense versus the 70s defense.
Kevin Green is Kevin Green. I don't care what defense. I don't care what generation.
Yeah, but Rod Woodson's still the best player on that defense. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You disagree?
I said it was okay. So I'm gonna say it's okay.
Rod Woodson was the GOAT. He was one of the 2 GOATs.
Don't say he's the GOAT. You cannot say he was the GOAT because prime time was the GOAT. It's not even. Hey, it is what it is. I was about to say it's not even close. I don't want to disrespect Rod because Rod's a good guy. We need to get him on the show too, man. He's an awesome cat, bro.
That'd be awesome. We could talk this debate with him.
But bro, you're not gonna disrespect Prime.
I won't.
Don't say he's one of. Don't disrespect Prime.
One of the 2 GOATs.
Don't disrespect Prime. He was the GOAT in the 90s. Period.
So that's what I'm going. So they both have a defensive player of the year. Mm-hmm. I'm going with Rod Woodson's 7 Pro Bowls, 5-time All-Pro, shorter time with the Steelers.
All I'm saying is you can't throw out the All-Pro element when that wasn't tracked for.
But how many Pro Bowls does he have? He has 4.
He has 5 Pro Bowls.
5 Pro Bowls. So Rod Wilson's got 7. We'll even just put it that way.
Okay.
Both defensive player of the year.
Uh-huh.
And we can't strictly go off picks.
Who had...
Because this was the point I was trying to make earlier.
Who had more of an impact on the NFL?
Come on, dude. Come on. If anything, Rod Woodson's time as a cornerback is harder because of Mel Blount.
No. Who had more impact on the NFL?
What does this have to do with what cornerback am I taking?
I'm going to take the guy who had an impact on the NFL.
Dude, you're moving the goalpost.
I'm not. I'm going with the guy who impacted the NFL to the point they said, look, man, it's not competitive because he is just destroying everyone and catching picks. Because people just say, oh, man, it's because the 5-yard rule, this and this and this. He wasn't doing it. The boy had 57 picks. He was doing something right.
He made Rod Woodson's
and he was
time.
slamming guys on their heads. We saw that. Super physical. I don't see any highlights of Rod Woodson slamming anybody on their head. That's not Rod's game. We know that.
Man,
we know that. I know Mel can. He gonna big or small receiver. He putting them palms on him. He could play run support. He gonna slam you. He can intimidate. He first got off the bus. I mean, have you seen what the guy looks like? Holy cow! Even now, he still got the juice. And he catching picks. And he was standing on one of the greatest defenses ever. Still curtain.
The best player on those defenses.
He was the best player in the NFL for a year. What are we talking about?
Though,
so what are we talking about then?
Over the course of all their careers.
Did he not get a depot with those guys?
Did he not
get a depot with those
Lambert
guys?
and Green.
Did he not get a depot over those guys?
Those dudes have won Defensive Player of the Years as well.
So did he get one over those guys? Yes or no?
For 1 year, he did. But
okay,
Rod Woodson won Defensive Player of the Year too.
But you said he did it with like Kevin Green. Remember Kevin Green and Greg Lloyd?
Come on, dude.
Bro, who's better? Right?
But you just said those guys are very.
Give me Joe Green over Kevin
players.
Green. Give me Jack Ham over Greg Lloyd if I had to pick, I guess.
No,
what you saying?
No, dude, you're playing into my point because
no. So I'm saying that Mel Blount had to stand up with far more talent. He had to be head and shoulders better.
Come on,
head and shoulders better.
Come on.
Than all those
or
guys.
Is he a benefactor of a great defense as well? Or does
it's hard to benefactor. Whereas they changed the NFL had to change a rule.
Rod Woodson was hands down the best player on those defenses. He just was like
who impacted the NFL greater?
I don't know what this has to do with the Steelers.
If
all-time
I'm saying
team.
They both on the Steelers, right?
Yeah.
One impacted the NFL while being a Steeler, right?
And you're talking about physicality. Rod, I just said 100 tackles, 83, 90 tackles he was getting in seasons. And so he's obviously a physical corner.
Or he's drag down.
What?
Or he's a drag down tackler.
Come on.
No, because we had this. We would joke with Shay. Ryan Shea said all the time about this. That first year, he would ton of tackles. Boy, you drag down king. You ain't FaceTime nobody. Every time you hit somebody, you dragging them. Oh, please fall. Please fall. Help. We say Shay gonna get there first, but we got to come and back him up because he's not gonna get him down. They're gonna gain an extra 3-4 yards. Stats look good though, right? So you look at the tackles, say, oh, man, that's a lot of tackles. I look at Mel Blount's tackles. I've never seen Mel Blount get ran over. Every highlight I've seen of Mel Blount, him dumping somebody on their head, ragdolling somebody. If he didn't have a football uniform on, they would have arrested that man for abuse. Could have called it child abuse the way he was dogging some of these guys out here, man.
That's what I mean. He made it harder on Rod Woodson, actually.
No, in fact, he played in a tougher era because the rules were that, hey, man, the receivers could do what they wanted to do to you, too. And he had to go up there in big dog status that. Rod was in the era where it's like, hey, man, all right, hey, I ain't going to touch you. You don't touch me.
The 90s, that's not the 90s.
You saw, hey, I'm just saying he won prime.
Wait, we're not talking Rod Woodson versus prime, though. Dude, you're moving this all over the place. But
he won prime.
Hold on. The thing with the interceptions, though.
You talking about the interceptions that that Mel almost doubles? You talking about those?
Well, less years for Rod Woodson with the Steelers.
I don't care.
But we can't just go simply off that. I
agree. You like to bring up the numbers. Then when I throw it out there, then you don't want to bring up the numbers.
Because the cornerback's different. People could just not be throwing his way.
Oh, whatever you say. So they were throwing Mel Blount's way?
Huh?
They were throwing Mel Blount's way?
I guess they were.
Or I guess he was going out there making plays.
He was doing both. Okay. That's fine.
It's not like Rod wasn't, huh?
He's a 4-time Super Bowl champ. He's a Hall of Famer. So there's a lot of good things there. How many interceptions did you say for Mel Blount?
57.
57. So if I'm looking at Deion Sanders, Deion has 53 over the course of his career.
Okay.
We said Rod Woodson 38 with the Steelers.
Yeah.
So 53 over the course of his career. If you take his first however many years,
come on, man. Let me hit this janky math.
I'm just saying it's probably high 30s and the 40s for Deion Sanders too.
All the janky math, and we would say eyeball test too. Like you said, we can't just go numbers only. Eyeball test. We know what prime was.
I know. We know Rod Woodson was too. That's why I'm not going.
We know
solely,
what prime was.
That's why I'm not going solely based off the picks. If you're going over the course of career too, he's got 71 picks to Mel Blount. We're not. We're not going to do that. I mean,
I agree.
It's something to consider though.
No, because you like to bring it up when we were talking Joe.
That's what I mean. I'm still going to consider Rod Woodson still balled out outside of the Steelers.
Yeah. He won prime though.
Huh?
He won prime.
Come on, dude.
I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. I'm not hearing that. You're not about to sit here and convince me that Rod Woodson was better than prime time.
I never did that.
You tried to. You said he was the GOAT.
was one of the GOATs.
No. It can't be multiple GOATs. You got one GOAT.
There's a couple GOATs.
How can you be the greatest of all time?
If I'm saying GOATs, I'm saying LeBron and Jordan are GOATs.
All I'm saying is, how do you say greatest of all time? Greatest of all time. That statement means that you are the greatest.
And then you say in the 90s too.
No. It's how are you the greatest of all time if there's somebody else that was just as great or greater than you?
It's just something to consider. We got two GOATs out there.
You can just say you're one of the best then.
I can't say you're the greatest. I like saying GOAT. I mean,
but that takes away from GOAT.
It's a nice catchphrase.
That's like when people say great. Oh, that was a great play. How is a 3-yard run a great play? Everything can't be a great play. Everybody can't be a GOAT.